Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mondoid, your one-stop shop for all things Project Zomboid. And this week, ask the Project Zomboid developer, Indie Stone, anything. Number 3, this time with live multiplayer. Holy crap, that's the longest title in the world. But as the title says, this was an Ask the Project Zomboid devs anything type of blog post, which they've done twice in the past. And much like the times in the past, I'm not going to go through every single question because it's just going to take too long. But there is an important announcement in case you didn't see my episode yesterday of Zomboid, which was an irregular one. The multiplayer is now public. You can now go and download the public multiplayer testing and play for yourself. That's right, it's finally time. And the way you do that is by going onto Steam, right-clicking on Project Zomboid, going to Properties, going to the Betas tab, and then opting into the multiplayer branch. And then you can go and play as long as you have a server to play on with an IP address, which there are a couple of public ones already. And it's a lot of fun, I'm not going to lie. The episode that I put up yesterday was me playing with basically the 42nd. If you don't know who the 42nd are, the 42nd is like Shannon Z Killer. I was playing with Rocket, who's a lead developer on DayZ, and a bunch of other people. It was a lot of fun. And I suggest you go check it out just to see how coordinating with other people can drastically change how you play the game. It's a lot of fun. It really, really is. So I highly suggest you go check this out and see how the multiplayer works. Now, some of the questions in the Ask the Developers Anything situation was good. There's a couple that I'm going to talk about a little bit. I'm not going to go deep into them because, again, I think a lot of them are retreading subjects I've already touched in the past, as have the developers, but they're going to answer them again anyway because a lot of people may not have read them. One of the main ones, of course, is are NPCs in a state where we're going to be able to see them soon? Generally, the answer was no, not yet, but we're working really hard to get them in a point where we can show you. If they were to give an ETA, well, they didn't give an ETA. If I were to give an ETA, should I say, we're probably not going to see anything, substantial on NPCs, like visually, probably for a minimum of probably 2 more months. I would throw out there 2, maybe 3 more months before they're ready to show anything basic. It's not now, it's not next week, it's not the week after. We've got a while before we see them. But that's important to know because I think NPCs are what a lot of people are waiting for. I know I am. Other things that have been asked are you going to be able to mod multiplayer servers? And the answer to that is yes, you will be able to mod multiplayer servers, which is awesome. You are going to be able to do such a thing. And anything else, let's see. Are any other current mods getting brought into the game? And they said, this is important because I was talking about it yesterday with Rocket and stuff, is that there are mods that they're looking to drag into the game at some point because they're awesome, particularly the erosion mod. I would really love to see the Indie Stone really embrace that erosion mod because one of the things that that Project Zomboid does so well is present an atmosphere that a lot of other survival games are lacking. It's just that desolation, that isolation, that loneliness, and that constant struggle for food and getting to that next day. And, even compared to something like, DayZ. And even when playing Project Zomboid, it's a multiplayer, it's a very different experience than DayZ. You're constantly struggling to work with people, especially if you come across them, because weapons are not as abundant, or at least good weapons are not as abundant as they are in something like DayZ. So having to work with people and worrying about trusting them and all that stuff is important to the atmosphere. Now, one of the things that the erosion mod does is amplify that feeling. What the erosion mod is and built for is that the idea of over time grass grows, buildings start to not crumble, but become decrepit, trees sprout from the road, like all this stuff is what the erosion mod is looking to do, and it really amplifies that experience. When you first start on a server, it's amazing, right? It's pretty pristine looking, it's not that great, it's still lonely, but it's not that destroyed looking. With the erosion mod over time, that's going to happen, and with a multiplayer server that's been running for months, like actual live months. Imagine logging in and just trying to get into the city that's completely overrun by nature, as well as having to deal with hordes of zombies. So I really would love to see them pull that erosion mod and put it in eventually, which is awesome. Other stuff that is really here to talk about. They are talking about hunting. The rabbit is the next thing that's being worked on, followed by, we're going to look at bears, they said, deer, rats, all kinds of good stuff that are going to be in there. So hunting is going to be hopefully sooner rather than later. It's definitely going to be before, I assume definitely before NPCs, so we'll be seeing that because right now, once Muldrow is completely looted out and West Point is completely looted out on a multiplayer server, you are looking at only being able to farm in order to fulfill that need for food. And farming isn't the most exciting thing in the world, even though it does work, but still, it's awesome. Let's see. how is farming going to work in multiplayer in terms of water levels when you log off? Right now, we have a server option for pause empty, which means the server will continue to live live even though no players are on it. So basically, right now, the servers are running even if you're not there, which makes sense. So that should be fine. I'm trying to think if there are any really big, good questions outside of the ones that I yanked. There's definitely some good ones. I think you should go read it. But anything I want to talk about particularly, and I think that's going to be it for questions. Yeah. Nothing phenomenal right now as far as like I want to cover. Just general stuff. I would suggest you go read like how's sleeping's gonna work, how's hunting gonna work, is fishing gonna work, all this other stuff. Very important that you go check this out. It's a good blog post, but much like other Ask the Indie Stone Anything blog posts, it's not much for me to really dive into. If you want to see multiplayer in action, go check out my video from yesterday, and you will be seeing more and hopefully a proper series with multiplayer in the near future. So thanks, guys. If you're one of those once-a-weekers, I'll see you next week. If you're a regular, I will see you later today. And as always, I'll see all of you guys next time. Bye-bye.